Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, the other way, the couples tell all. Let's watch.
Our wedding was one of the best days of my life.
Hey, yes, I can hear you now.
But since then, it's been really bad. It has been very difficult for Evelyn. She mentioned that I'm on very thin ice.
Okay, so we're learning that after the wedding that they had where they invited people because they were already married, it's been, according to Corey, really difficult. He says particularly for Evelyn that Corey apparently has been messing up a lot. I guess maybe we'll hear about what that is. I guess we shouldn't be really all that surprised. It's a pattern in their relationship where they're pretty much in a constant cycle between recovery or recent incidents in which Corey made a mistake and he's begging for forgiveness, and Evelyn is fed up with him and is rejecting him and putting him down, and so I guess we'll find out how that cycle has continued.
No, you want it?
Things between me and Corey are rough right now because he promised when we got married that I know everything that needs to be known, and there's more things that I'm finding out. So I'm just hoping that I don't get bad surprises.
Okay, so she is learning more details, maybe about Jenny. I'm not sure, obviously. Maybe there was another woman after she broke up with him. That's what it sounds like to me, but I guess we'll find out.
Evelyn, what kind of emotions were brought up while you were watching this season?
I'm upset that he made me go through that. The emotions are so real, and for me to see me like that, I'm like shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she, it's interesting to think about these individuals watching the footage and seeing their own behavior. It gives them a chance to, see themselves from the outside that most of us aren't given that opportunity. And I've actually had couples do this sometimes. If they can take it, it can actually be kind of rough on some people, but to record themselves having a fight or to journal really quickly into a microphone after a fight or something, and then listen back to it later, because a lot of self-awareness can be developed through that activity to say, wow, I am really upset and I am talking in a way that I just can't really relate to right now. And what it really tells us and helps us to learn is that we have different modes that we go into, and when we're triggered and when our sympathetic nervous system is revved up, we are extremely different and we think different. We see things different. We make different choices. We think some behaviors are okay when, of course, later we say that's not okay to say to my spouse, for example. When I'm really angry and I have this tone of voice, that's the other thing is tone. Like when you hear it, when you're in the midst of your own tone, it sounds totally natural. When you record it and you watch it back, you're like, oh my God, I'm a jerk face. Like that was a really a-hole tone that I had. And so for Evelyn, she was given that opportunity and she walked away with the perspective of, wow, it's really hard to watch. I'm going through a lot of really tough emotions. I think what we might be able to glean from that is that she might try to stuff her emotions a lot of the time. I don't know, but that she would watch herself and go like, wow, I'm having a lot of emotion that doesn't match up with how I remember things. Like, I wonder what that's about. If she, protects herself by, suppressing or forgetting. The other thing that we're hearing is that she says, it's hard to watch because of what Corey put me through. I don't know if a lot of us from the outside would see it that way, right? But that's how she sees it.
Or maybe Corey.
Oh my God. Technically, I'm not in the room.
Okay.
Alina was nodding in agreement.
Yeah, because
So Steven says, I'm the worst person except for Corey. What? Well, he lied. Corey did lie to Evelyn about Jenny. He got back from Peru and said, oh, it was just this, really short 3-day thing. we never had sex, that kind of thing. That was a lie. You shouldn't lie about stuff like that for sure. But having said that, at the time when he lied, I think he thought, we're done. Me and Evelyn are done. I don't need to tell it. Now, a better response is, I don't need to answer that question. You broke up with me, so, let it go. But he did lie, so that was wrong, and certainly focused on a lot by the Evelyn Corey storyline. But aside from that, just think about the other things that have happened to him. All the things that have happened to him over the span of our, contact with him. So, but Steven saw it at, maybe he just was convinced by Evelyn's vibe or something. I think that can happen sometimes where when someone, and, this will happen, and I think this is one of the elements of true gaslighting. Listen to all my episodes on what gaslighting actually is, not the way that everyone uses it on the internet, but true gaslighting, not everyone, but a lot of people on the internet. True gaslighting is when it makes you generally question your ability to judge reality. And it usually works because it's so abusive and over time, ongoing and consistent. And for Evelyn, she's so consistent with her version of reality, which I can't know how other people think about this, or how I would see it, or what's fair in terms of this sort of thing. But her version of reality doesn't match up with mine in terms of, and I've only seen little snippets, so I can't tell for sure. But let's just imagine that maybe Evelyn is extremely distorted, which is quite possible, and has a very distorted narrative of everything that happens emotionally between her and Corey. And she just, keeps stating it over and over and over again, as she's so sure of herself. And if you're not so sure of yourself and in your Corey and you're listening to this, eventually you're just like, well, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But she seems so sure of herself. And also, if I step out of line and disagree with her, I get punished. So maybe I should just agree and that things will go better. When you do that enough times, you essentially, it's easier just to give up your own evaluative process. It's easier when you have that amount of distortion and pressure and threats of rejection and threats of divorce and everything. It's easier just to be like, what, and this can be at least partially, if not completely subconscious, where you just say, I'm not going to evaluate reality anymore, because when I do, I raise questions that get me in trouble. So I'm just going to shut that down and just accept that I don't know how to gauge reality, and that person does, and so I'll just succumb to their version of reality. So I don't know if that's what happened, of course, but did Steven get convinced by that?
He told me that he has told me all the truth already, but I somehow keep finding out more things.
Me personally, I don't think I could handle it.
I got Evelyn a therapist to try to help.
You got Evelyn.
Because he thinks I'm the problem. So.
Yes.
You got Evelyn a therapist?
Okay, interesting. So Evelyn's going to therapy. I think that's great if it addresses the issues, whether I'm conceptualizing them correctly or not. That's really good. And if it's working well, Evelyn will be a much happier, much more less triggered person, if you will.
Big question. Can I take a
You
sip?
told me you didn't, see?
Take a little sip.
Is there any tequila back there? I have feelings for Jenny as a person. I really do care about the time we spent together, but my heart and my love and my future is with Evelyn.
Yeah. So again, I get where everyone's coming from. For Corey, he got dumped. He thought it's over. And she's broke up with me before, but this time it's for good. And I'm leaving the country. I met someone else and had some feelings for her. And I broke up with her. I don't know why they broke up though, because he went back to Evelyn he says to get his stuff and then to go back home. So maybe he just I'm just going to go back to Washington. And then the pandemic happened. They were locked up together, Corey and Evelyn. They decided to make things work. And then they ask him, do you still have feelings for Jenny? And he's like, well, I mean, it's a tough thing to answer. I have feelings for her as a human, but I don't want to be with her. All my love and my dedication and my romance and all that stuff is all for Evelyn. So I think that's totally human. You broke up, you had a relationship, and now you're back with your ex, who was Evelyn, and you have some residual feelings. Makes total sense. It's totally human to be that. In fact, if he said, I have no feelings, you would say, how come? Like, are you a robot? So I get where Corey's coming from, of course. He didn't do anything wrong in my book. According to the edit of the show and Evelyn, he's a complete horrible, horrible human being for dating someone after being broken up with. Even, they were legally married, all right. But I don't know. I just don't personally think that matters. And now, if they had a conversation, which they didn't, if Evelyn said, okay, I'm breaking up with you, but until we are, legally divorced, you cannot date other people. I'm pretty sure that conversation didn't happen. So they both separated without checking what that meant. Does this mean we can date other people before we're officially divorced, or what? What does that mean? Or wait, they weren't even married at the time. Or no, they were married at the time. Wait, were they married at the time? Yeah, they were. Okay. So because they didn't have that conversation, then neither one, Corey could say, well, I thought it was okay for us to date. I thought it would have been okay if you dated someone else because we were done. And Evelyn's like, well, I thought that was against the rules. Okay, well, if you didn't talk about it, then, no harm, no foul, because it's rational to have either position, I suppose. So there's that. But anyway, so, okay, we've taken Corey's side. From Evelyn's side, I understand that it hurts, that you're like, wow, you dated someone real fast. Now, I don't think that's grounds for ridicule or making him eat soup that he's not supposed to eat, doesn't want to eat, or whatever, and a constant, making him pass all these tests and making him feel like he's a piece of crap. I don't think that it's that, but I get that it hurts. It's just like, wow, he moved on quick, and that doesn't feel good. That he sounds like he, might have even fallen in love with that woman. That's not a wonderful thing to think about my husband. On the other hand, I did break up with him, so I don't have anything to say other than the fact that, I don't know, it just kind of hurts me. Do you love me really, or am I just like another person, or do you want to get back with Jenny? Like, it hurts. That makes sense. But the way that it comes across, right, of just like, you're a piece of crap, I'm going to punish you for all time, my family's going to punish you, the world's going to punish you, and you should be terribly ashamed of yourself. There's something terribly wrong with you. You're a cheater. You're a liar. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I want to throw up.
I don't blame him.
You knew about her, but what was the biggest surprise when you saw that scene?
Him saying that he have feelings, to me, it puts me in a confusion thing, because he swears, over his dad. His dad passed away. Who the does that? Who swears over like that for a lie?
Well, that's interesting, and I've been over this ground already as well, that the lying was wrong. We don't know the circumstance, though. I wish I knew, because there's this really important question that I want to ask. Lying is never okay. I mean, well, under most circumstances, but in this situation, there's really no excuse. But there are different kinds. Like, when he said these things, was he... he comes back from Peru, and, there's this period of time where he's like, I'm just going to get my stuff and go. And in that moment, is that when he starts to lie? He's just like, yeah, I know everything. Just let me get my stuff. I'm just going to go. Lying in that situation, it's like, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm never going to talk to Evelyn again anyway, and she doesn't deserve to know all the details, and I just don't want to get into it with her, so... yeah, the picture you saw on Instagram, I just dated her for a couple of days. Can we move on? Well, swear on your dad's name. Okay, I swear on my dad's name. Anyway, let me get my stuff. I just want to get out of your hair and just go home. Was it that? Which, it's not okay to lie, but it certainly is in a different context. Or was it post we've gotten back together, And then the questions start coming. It's like, yes, Evelyn, I want to be with you. Oh, good. We're starting back a relationship. We're going to work on our marriage. Okay, what about this picture on Instagram? Was that when the lying? Because if that's when the lying happens, then that is a bigger transgression in my book. I don't know. It's not a universal book, of course, but it's my book. The other thing is that, she's, I think, equating Evelyn, she's not contextualizing everything. It's like, I broke up with him. I dumped him because he didn't learn Spanish. I said that. I broke up with him not to actually break up with him, but because I was trying to get him to do X, Y, and Z. And I do that regularly. She admitted to that. I did that to him. He left the country and got together with someone else. He came back and we got back together, and then he was terrified that I was going to leave him. So he downplayed his relationship with someone else. It's not okay that he lied, but I can kind of see where it comes from because of what I did to him. It never would have happened if I hadn't dumped him and made him feel like he was a piece of crap so that he would rely on someone else for that kind of thing. I'm not saying she's to blame, but just contextualizing a little bit, just like, okay. The other thing is that her feeling of like nausea, it makes total sense, I think it would be common, depending on your orientation. If you're, polyamorous, this wouldn't probably trigger you, but if you heard, like, if you had a videotape of your spouse, let's just say, let's say your partner was previously married and you saw their vows. You saw a video recording of your current partner crying and kissing and vowing eternal love and professing all this love and the hugging and the kissing. Imagine watching your current spouse do that with someone else, even though in your mind, this is someone from a long time ago. I obviously know intellectually that there was a marriage and there were vows and there was love and there was kissing and there was sexing and there was all that in love feeling. But to see it in front of you and to really experience it, which Evelyn is doing right now, she's not seeing that, but she's hearing Corey talk about, well, I don't know, do I have feelings? That's going to cause a reaction. It's like, ugh, particularly if you have abandonment traumas, right? And if you have abandonment traumas, it's going to times 100, and then it's going to completely overwhelm you and flood you, and then that's when the anger comes out.
I didn't want to be with you, and I made very, very big mistakes, and that I wish so badly I didn't do that to you.
I want to bring your sisters back into the conversation. This obviously doesn't help them like Corey any better.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm confused because a few of the, reactions from the other cast members, they're just like, oh, how awful of Corey to get together with someone after she dumped him. Am I missing something here? I don't understand. The show seems to be editing and gearing us toward this conclusion that he is a complete D-bag who cheated. Again, he lied, which is wrong. But contextually, like, is it really up there in terms of like he's a total D-bag? Plus, is there no counter argument around what Evelyn has done to him? Is there no like, yeah, I lied. That's awful. Totally. Let's talk about you, Evelyn. Let's address what you've done to me. How about we do that? How about the fact that you broke up with me because I didn't learn Spanish? You know what I mean? Like, having said that, I understand that it makes total sense that she'd be like, hey, I don't want to have to take care of you. Will you please learn Spanish? Like, I get that. But, anyway.
Corey and Jenny.
Eres un poco hombre. Y si tú amas a alguien, tú no vas y buscas a otra persona.
It's disappointing, Corey. You have to take inventory of your past mistakes and make it right.
Evelyn, is this something you can get past?
Am I missing something? What's going on? Am I completely off base? Everyone seems to be agreeing that he is a piece of crap. Did I like miss a scene or something? Like, what's happening right now? Is no one gonna go, she broke up with him and he dated someone else after they broke up? Is no one gonna acknowledge that fact here?
I don't know. I just feel like I don't trust him at all, not even a little bit. I don't want to be in a relationship like that. I don't deserve that. There's no trust, there is nothing.
I want to ask Stephen, how do you feel about the fact that they were on a break? Do you think that gives Corey...
They were not on a break. She broke up with him. It wasn't a break. It was over. She said it was over. And she said he kept saying, she broke up with me, she broke up with me, it was over, it was over. She said many things, and then she admitted, yes, I did break up with him. I did say it's over. It wasn't a break. And even if it is a break, like, are you not allowed to date people on a break? I don't understand. Why would you be on a break? What's the purpose of a break if it's not I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
He has the opportunity to say the truth, but he didn't.
I didn't thought our relationship was toxic years ago, but in the last couple of years, it is definitely a toxic relationship.
Corey and Evelyn, I can see this has not been easy to relive. Now may be a good time to take a break.
So everyone if he loved her, he wouldn't have done that. Does anyone dispute that he loves her or not? Everyone understands that Corey loves Evelyn. It is undeniable. Out of everyone on this show, his love is the biggest and the blindest and the most, impervious to information that's coming his way. So, yeah, he loved her. They were done. He dated someone. So Kenny, everyone agrees. Kenny has a level head. I must have been missing something. There's some piece of data here that I don't have. She broke up with him. He dated someone else. He came back and lied about it. It's not okay. But under the circumstances, it's kind of understandable. It's not okay to lie. It's upsetting to think I must be missing something, right? Am I missing something?
Evelyn, Corey, what's next for you guys?
I feel like we have tried a lot, and it's in this point where it's like way too toxic, and Corey keeps trying, and I always end up giving in because there's all this care, and we're so used to being together. It's such a vicious cycle.
Wait, what did she say? She's like, it's toxic relationship. Toxic relationship. Okay. I wonder what she means by that. And then she said something. I didn't catch that word. And then this happens, and I always get sucked back in. Let's hear what she said there.
I always end up giving in because there's all this care, and we're so used to being together.
There's all this care? Is that what she said? There's all this care? That's interesting. I don't know what she means by that. Like, there's all this love or something?
Such a vicious cycle.
Yeah, so Evelyn, or Ellie's like, I agree with Evelyn, you know? And so I must be missing, and I guess it's upsetting to me because it's like I watch this show I'm so focused. You know, regularly when you watch TV, you're lounging on the couch and you're on your phone. And, you know, I'm just sitting here watching this show. I'm not distracted. I'm just like watching every scene. I'm analyzing every word. And to see all the cast members, level-headed people like Kenny and Ellie and others, just agreeing with what Evelyn's sort of perspective is, it's just like, I must have missed something. And it upsets me because it makes me think like, where else have I been completely off? You know, just like, or that I didn't see a scene or something. You know, as a therapist, you want to believe that you have a grasp on how things are supposed to work, you know, and to see this, I'm just like, am I losing it?
I was thinking that maybe since we don't get a good breakup, maybe we should get a therapist to do that. You know, if we're not a good relationship, maybe we should have a therapist to break up.
I think therapists can help you, like, respectfully, you know, like, untangle our lives from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just so interesting, again, to hear Evelyn talk again about how she doesn't want to be married to him. Again. From the beginning. Now, before they got married, it's totally fine to be like, hey, pal, I don't want to get married. I'm not looking for that sort of thing. I don't want to be tied down. but she did marry him. But along the way, she was saying, I don't want to get married, and just, I mean, so yeah, so then the other side is like, Corey, you're just looking at him like, dude, why would you marry someone that clearly doesn't want to marry you and talks about divorcing you all the time? Like, there are other fish in the sea, my friend, some of whom actually want to be with you. And there would be no ambiguity to it. So I guess it's just frustrating to watch two people shooting themselves in the foot regarding their relationships. I mean, you just got to wonder if in a different parallel universe, if they never met, if they both would have been so much more happy.
Because
Exactly.
it's so hard. I really identify with you guys' story a lot because it kind of reminded me of feeling mad at Vinny. Vinny felt bad about all the stuff that he did, but I just remind him, you up, you up, you up. I feel like you guys are at that point. Evelyn keeps reminding you of your mistakes.
Yeah, there are parallels, Ariella. Biniam, and I didn't show this scene, didn't cheat on you. And you reacted for months as if he did. You didn't have any evidence that he cheated. You had extremely circumstantial evidence that he cheated. And what punished him and yelled at him and accused him and threatened him, but he never cheated. So this idea of just like, well, I felt like he cheated on me, and so I let him have it, moving on in life. It's like, no, that's on you. You made the mistake. You distorted. And then your feelings were based on your distortions, and then your aggressive behavior was based on your distorted feelings, which are based on your distorted perceptions. That doesn't make it okay. Just because it felt a certain way doesn't mean that it's okay that it happened.
Individually, I love them both. I think they're great, but I'd like to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll get it.
I wanted to kill him. Hearing him say that he had feelings for her, like, I wanted to destroy him.
Yikes. So it's one thing to be hurt. It's another thing to say, I want to kill my spouse. And this isn't the first time she said something like this. And I'm guessing she says it and thinks it quite more often than that, right? It's probably the tip of the iceberg. Just imagine your spouse saying that. I want to kill you. I want to hurt you. I want to destroy you. She has said this many times, which is concerning.
My sense of trust has been completely broken. But I think that if I see a change, maybe there will be a chance.
Unless I'm missing something completely, which I guess is possible, seeing Corey so beaten down and so like sheepish and like, I'm terribly sorry, I hope we just can move forward. Oh boy. All right, well that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.